Good afternoon. Would you please stand for the national anthem, which will be sung by Sophia DeLeo, a graduate student in vocal studies in our School of Music.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You can be seated. Good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 Doctoral Hooding Ceremony. I'm Lou Rossi. I'm on the Faculty of Mathematical Sciences and I'm the Dean of the Graduate College. As the Dean, I have the privilege of representing the faculty and administration and welcoming you here today. This afternoon, we're going to celebrate the achievements of all of those who've received their doctoral degrees between the spring of 2020 and the summer of 2021. This is an unusual event. We're celebrating two cohorts of graduates this year because the pandemic prevented us from doing it last year. Some in attendance here today have experienced profound loss from this pandemic, and I think it's safe to say we've all made sacrifices for one another. The sign of a great society is measured by what we do for one another. Now, things are looking better than ever, but out of an abundance of caution, I am asking for everyone to remain masked today. I'm asking you to do it not for yourself, but for everyone around you. We've gone this far. The case counts are down. Let's see it through all the way to the end together. Now, when you watch the hooding today, most, if not all, of the students will be hooded in the traditional way, and that is the candidate's advisor and the dean will place the hood over the candidate's head. But some students may feel more comfortable hooding themselves with their advisor and dean standing to the side. Both procedures are safe and approved by campus health officials, and the students and advisors have chosen the way that they feel most comfortable with, and that's what we're going to do. So it's my pleasure to introduce the platform party to you. As your name is called, please stand and be recognized. Dennis Asanis, the 28th President of the University of Delaware. Robin Morgan, Provost of the University of Delaware. Charlie Reardon, Vice President for Research. Lynn Okagaki, Vice Provost for Academic Affairs. Matt Kinservik, Vice Provost for Faculty Affairs. Mary Martin, Associate Dean of the Graduate College. Sophia DeLeo, Master Student of Vocal Studies. Calvin Keeler, Dean of the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Maria Aristogata, Dean of the Biden School of Public Policy and Administration. John Pilesko, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Bruce Weber, Dean of the Alfred Lerner College of Business and Economics. Estela Ataquana, Dean of the College of Earth, Ocean, and Environment. Gary Henry, Dean of the College of Education and Human Development. Levi Thompson, Dean of the College of Engineering. Kathleen Matt, Dean of the College of Health Sciences. Thank you, everyone. So graduates, there's no higher degree than the doctoral degree, here or anywhere. So you get 3 stripes. You earned one, but I'll bet you didn't do it alone. Many of the family and friends here who supported you are here today to cheer you on, and some are watching. Family and friends, would you please rise? Graduates, would you please join me in thanking your family and friends for supporting you for all your years at UD? Now, doctoral candidates are special individuals, and they make a very special community on campus with a breadth of backgrounds and experiences, and I thought I'd at least give you some sense of that. Some come straight out of college, others come having had full careers. Collectively, our doctoral candidates represent 30 different countries from every inhabited continent on this planet, from Albania to Uganda. Our youngest doctoral recipient is 28. Our most experienced doctoral candidate is 59. There's another really interesting thing about this group, and I hope I've got this one right, but I don't think anyone here has a birthday today. So what are the odds of that? It's about 1 in 600, just so you know. More importantly, these are really talented scholars advancing their fields by tackling really challenging problems. I'm just going to give you a few examples here. There is a doctoral student here who pioneered new methods for electroreduction of atmospheric CO2. So in other words, a new and innovative and promising way to take carbon out of the atmosphere. There's a doctoral recipient here today who's shown that a child learns new words better when their parents read to them than if they watch a video with someone explaining the words to them. And by the way, it doesn't matter whether the parent is reading right in front of them or if they're doing it via Zoom. There's a doctoral student here who's identified a genetic basis for a disease that causes blindness. There's a doctoral student here today who's developed a new way to share large amounts of data and do it while maintaining our privacy to keep it secure. So before we move ahead with the hooding ceremony, I would like to recommend a few other different special recipients today. I ask that all military veterans, regardless of your nationality, stand and be recognized for their service. Thank you very much. I'd also like to recognize a few other special doctoral students here today. So there's some who've been serving the public during the pandemic. We have 11 doctorate in nursing practice students here and 1 PhD in nursing who've been caring for patients and putting themselves at risk during the pandemic while earning their doctoral degree. Would the nursing practice and nursing PhD candidates please rise and be recognized for your service to society? And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Provost Robin Morgan. It's indeed.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be with you today, and especially to be here in person, to celebrate the accomplishments of our doctoral students. My sincere thanks to the Graduate College for organizing this event and allowing us to honor you all in this way in person. Today would be a special day in any circumstance, a day that culminates years and years of sacrifice, commitment, and hard work. Given what we have endured as a university, a country, and a global community over the past 15 months, this celebration today has even greater meaning. Completing a doctoral degree requires many of the same elements that it takes to endure a global pandemic. You have to be flexible, and you have to learn to pivot. That's a word we have overused this last 15 months. You have to look for guidance and wisdom from those who have studied more deeply and for a longer period of time than you have. You have to question and find answers, and you must at times be patient and at other times be persistent. You slip up sometimes, you make errors, you suffer the consequences, and you worry about your decisions. You have to dig deep within yourself to find grit, determination, and the strength to move forward despite seemingly insurmountable obstacles. That you are here today, receiving your doctoral hoods, illustrates to all of us that you have been successful in all these things. You've completed your work. You've earned your degrees during a global pandemic. That legacy will be yours to reflect on as you consider your achievements now and any time in your future when the going gets tough. It hasn't been easy, but here we are. Let's cherish the fact that we are here today, slowly finding our way back to a new state of normal and celebrating everything we have come through together. My very best wishes to each and every one of you, your families and your friends spread out across this stadium who have supported you through this journey. My sincere thanks to the faculty advisors who have mentored and educated you, and to the college's administrative staff members who worked with you throughout your time at the University of Delaware. Congratulations to you all. Let's give them a round of applause. And now, it is my distinct honor to introduce the President of the University of Delaware and my friend, Dr. Dennis Asanas.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan and Dr. Rossi. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy that we're here together. I cannot tell you how much I've missed the special campus events, the opportunities to celebrate our people, our students, and our faculty, who make the University of Delaware such a wonderful place. I'm absolutely thrilled that we have so many of your families and friends here to share in this special moment. To all of them, I want to say thank you, because your support and encouragement of our doctoral candidates has been absolutely essential to their success. That's been especially true during the unprecedented challenges created by the pandemic. And to our graduating doctoral students, let me be among the first to use the title and say, congratulations, doctors! Reaching this moment has required an incredible level of perseverance and dedication to your academic and research commitments. And you did it while the world around you was changing, moment by moment. It was your indomitable spirit and your drive to succeed that helped you overcome tremendous obstacles. You've earned this moment, and you should be very proud of what you have accomplished. You've earned the highest degree awarded in academia, the kind of degree that fewer than 2% of Americans hold. But with great privilege comes great responsibility. Your journey and lifelong service to your societies and the world is just beginning. You're starting a new phase of work, one that focuses on the creation of new knowledge to help address the complex problems all around us. This is true whether you work in basic or applied research, whether you work in the arts, the humanities, business, or the sciences, whether you work in a lab or a classroom or the community, whether you remain in academia or whether you pursue a career in the private, government, or nonprofit sectors. You are now leaders in the never-ending quest to increase human understanding. Your creation of knowledge finds its highest purpose when it enriches lives, strengthens communities, and helps us build a better world. As you live here today and embark on this journey, I want you to be guided by the values that you've learned here at the University of Delaware. Specifically, I want you to remember the power of innovation and the promise of engagement. These are the critical pathways that can lead us into a brighter future. Creativity, discovery, and innovation provide the power to drive our society and our economy forward. Our world needs a constant flow of new ideas, new ways of doing things and looking at things, new solutions to all problems, and new questions to help illuminate our path to the future. Innovation means new processes, new products, new services. Consider for a minute the challenges our world has faced during the pandemic. Science has helped us understand the emergence and spread of this novel coronavirus. And science has guided us in the best ways to protect ourselves through our behaviors and the development of safe and effective vaccines. Yet, some of the biggest challenges associated with the pandemic have been related to politics and public policy, education and economics, communications and community service. It has taken all these fields and many others all working together to mount an effective response to the global pandemic. This work is far from over, of course. In whatever field of study that you have pursued, you can make incredible contributions by harnessing the transformative power of innovation. As you do so, remember to always be fully engaged with the world. Engagement means that we're going to share our knowledge and apply our creativity and civic commitment to the critical challenges facing people in our communities and around the globe. Engagement is the promise we make to others in society that we'll listen to them and let their needs inform our research and scholarship. It is also crucial that you engage with each other and collaborate across disciplines and cultures. As smart as you are, you will never have a truly comprehensive picture of a complex problem like climate change or race relationship or a global pandemic. Collaboration sparks inspiration and helps you open new doors of inquiry and understanding. Work together to go far. It's the only way to really make progress that endures and benefits future generations. So always remember the power of innovation and the promise of engagement. If you combine them, you are unstoppable. As you receive your doctoral hoods today and begin the next chapter of your lives, let those values guide you in your important work. The University of Delaware is proud of you and your accomplishments. So again, congratulations, doctors. Thank you.
Thank you, President DeSantis. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce Mary Martin, Associate Dean of the Graduate College, who will explain the meaning of the wearing of the hood.
The meaning of the wearing of the hood. On behalf of the Graduate College, I'm honored to welcome the degree candidates and their families to this event. The tradition and meaning of the wearing of the hood is that a candidate for the doctoral degree should not wear the hood unless it has been officially draped to another by one who holds a doctoral degree. It is to signify the passage of scholarship from one to another for those who achieve the highest degree offered by an institution of higher learning. The distinctive element of the academic garb is the hood. The doctoral hood is to be 4 feet long and has panels at the side. The Intercollegiate Code provides that a hood should be lined with the official colors of the institution that confers the degree, and the lining is worn exposed. UD hoods are royal blue, velvet on the outside, and the inside material is blue and gold. The hood is also trimmed with the color indicating the discipline of learning to which the degree pertains. Each subject or discipline has a distinct color. If a person holds more than one academic degree, such as all of you, he or she may only wear one hood at a time, and it should match the gown. For the degree candidates, the doctoral hooding is likely to be a one-time event in your lifetime. We believe that the experience of this event that recognizes your accomplishment will linger in your memory and the memory of your family as you step off into your future endeavors, leading the way to prominence as leaders in addressing the grand challenges of the 21st century and leading our world to a better tomorrow. Participation in the doctoral hooding ceremony today affirms your right to wear the hood and gown with the 3 doctoral stripes on the sleeve. President DeSantis and deans, I confirm that the students being hooded today are eligible to accept the wearing of the hood. Let us begin the celebration.
Good afternoon. I'm Calvin Keeler, and it's my honor and privilege to be Interim Dean of the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Our college is engaged in finding solutions to one of the world's grandest challenges, feeding the world while protecting the planet and its inhabitants. As we know from the events of the past year, animals may not only be a source of food, but a vector for human disease. Increased food production is important for an increasing global population, but it must be done while maintaining our stewardship of the environment, our soil, water, and air. Now you understand the meaning of this year's virtual Ag Day theme, One World, One Health. As graduate students, you have faced and overcome challenges and obstacles that no graduate has ever had to face. You may have had to overcome challenges in obtaining samples and physically performing your experiments. You've had to interact with your advisors, committee members, and colleagues remotely. After all, you pioneered the concept of a virtual PhD defense. And you've done this while worrying about the health and safety of your loved ones and while dealing with unique and challenging personal responsibilities. I join you in thanking the friends, family members, and loved ones who have supported you and stood by your side during your career. Yet the work of education and the pursuit of knowledge has not faltered in Cantor. In the past 2 years, 149 graduate degrees have been earned in our college, including 22 PhD degrees. The Department of Plant and Soil Sciences leads the way with 9 PhDs. We are also celebrating 4 PhDs in entomology and wildlife ecology, 4 PhDs in animal and food sciences, 4 PhDs in bioinformatics and systems biology, and 1 PhD in microbiology. But now we are here together and in person to celebrate your accomplishments. On behalf of the college, I am proud to welcome you to the community of scholars, and I wish you success as you embark on your own journeys of scientific discovery. The world is waiting for you. The world needs you. So finally, I want to add my congratulations to those of the faculty and staff of the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, to our PhD graduates. President Osanis, I present to you the PhD recipients from the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Will the graduates please approach the stage for your hoodie?
Keep it in. Wait. Shawnee Craighead, completing a degree in animal and food sciences. Shawnee is a quality assurance lead for Fresh Realm, a company that specializes in providing ready-to-cook, heat, and eat meals. Also, Shani wants to share some good news. She was just engaged. Brianna Anderson. Brianna is also accompanied by Camelia Keneal, completing a degree in animal and food science. She thanks Dr. Keneal for her mentorship and allowing her to continue here at UD as the project manager of the Center for Environmental and Wastewater Epidemiological Research. Casey Johnson, completing a degree in animal and food science, accompanied by Ryan Arsenault. Casey shares, "Let's use the freedom that we have been granted to seek what is true. That is especially a responsibility we bear, having achieved this highest degree in our field." She is now a postdoctoral fellow at Vido Interact Vac, an international vaccine center in Canada. Bridget Allwood. Go on, move up. Bridget is also completing a degree in animal and food science under the direction of Dr. Arsenault. Bridget shares that exactly 1 year ago, she thought that celebrations and ceremonies were not possible, and so is so thrilled that it is now happening today. She's a postdoc researcher at Fox Chase Cancer Center. Stay here for a second. Okay, you can go ahead and move on. Kelly Molahan, Bioinformatics and System Biology. We have to pause here a second because the faculty and graduate programs nominate students for outstanding dissertation awards, and faculty committees rate the nominations to determine the recipient of these awards. As we did not have a commencement in 2020 due to the pandemic, the awards for 19 and 20 were delayed and have not yet been announced. We will be announcing them in a web article very soon. However, Kelly Molahan, standing here today from the class of 1920, is the recipient of the Outstanding Interdisciplinary Doctoral Dissertation Award. Congratulations, Kelly. She is now a postdoc fellow at the University of Pennsylvania, and her advisor is Dr. Keeler. Heidi Van Every, completing a degree in bioinformatics and data science, accompanied by her advisor, Erin Connor. She returned to UD for the PhD after a real job for several years, and that was the hardest part of doing the degree. Her grandmother passed away just before the defense, but was her very influential in taking this step. Gretchen Dykes, accompanied by both of her advisors, Angela Seaforth and an advisor, Clara Chen, completing a degree in microbiology. The most unique moment of her PhD was on a trip to use specialized equipment for sample analysis at the synchrotron, where her advisor and collaborators filmed a fully choreographed parody of Sia's Cheap Thrills in between late-night samples. This was a great way to share creativity and love of science in such a goofy way. She's a biologist with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Gulsen Unal-Thompson, accompanied by her advisor, Jeb Desai, Plant and Soil Sciences. Gulsen shares that, first of all, UD is and will always be her home away from home. She's on the stage now, but her husband will be on the stage later. She says, if you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit, and science forever. Catherine Zierlog, accompanied by Dr. Sparks. He thanks Dr. Sparks for welcoming her into the Sparks Lab family, and by doing so, changed her life for the better. She is now an assistant professor of soil science and environmental chemistry at Westfield State University in Massachusetts. Lindsay Erdwine, accompanied by Aaron Sparks, completing a degree in plant and soil sciences. She shares a quote, "Do not compare yourself to others. Be true to who you are and continue to learn with all your might." She sends her challenge to all to save the world together because we cannot succeed alone. She will continue to fight climate change. Alma Vasquez-Luel, completing a degree in plant and soil science, accompanied by her advisor, Rodrigo Vargas. Alma is an immigrant and first generation. She had the dream of the opportunity to pursue the PhD, and she thanks everyone involved for making this dream come true. Mohammed Afasar, plant and soil science, accompanied by his advisor, Yan Jin. He shares that he is missing his late parents, who would be the happiest person today by seeing him here. He thanks Yan Jin for her generous guidance and inspiration. This completes the recognition of the students from the College of Agricultural and Natural Resources. You need to tell them to move faster instead of stay back. Don't just stand here and tell them that.
Welcome and congratulations. I am Maria Ristigada, the Dean of the Biden School of Public Policy and Administration. The Biden School is named after the 46th President of the United States. and it prepares students with the knowledge and skills necessary to engage in research and public service activities to improve the quality of life in communities and around the world. Our faculty, staff, students, and alumni create and use interdisciplinary, nonpartisan research and empirically based analysis to inform effective decision-making, in policy to improve leadership and administration. We partner with organizations from all sectors to discover innovative and equitable solutions to the critical challenges of our times. And our PhD students are well prepared to do just that. Today, I will be presenting to you students from our Disaster Science and Management program, Energy and Environmental Policy, and Urban Affairs and Public Policy.
Go right on up, okay? Connor Dacey, completing a PhD in Disaster Science and Management, accompanied by his advisor, Joseph Trainer. Connor now has a PhD and 2 degrees in meteorology, but please don't blame him for the weather. Still can't control it. Trust him, he's tried. Connor is accepted an American Association for the Advancement of Science and Technology Policy Fellowship in the U.S. Geological Survey Natural Hazards Mission Area. Go on. Diego Fernandez Otigua, accompanied by his advisor, Joe Trainer. Melissa Brown DeGenera, completing a degree in Disaster Science and Management with her advisor, Melissa Melby. Melissa is the Health and Human Services Planning Coordinator for the Chester County, Pennsylvania, currently working on COVID testing and vaccination initiatives. To her fellow doctorates, she says, be dangerous, be powerful, and change the world. She also thinks her 2 little daughters should have the PhD behind their name for all the time she has had to spend away from them to accomplish the degree. Robert DeMalaria, accompanied by Ismet Shah, completing a PhD in Energy and Environmental Policy. Robert shares, no pressure, no diamonds, first-generation college student. His biggest pressures were the many inner fears he had to overcome by the way to the PhD. He believes that everyone can transform your toughest pressures into diamonds. The harder the pressures, the more pressure the diamonds. He shares that Denon, the wonderful staff and faculty at UD, his family, along with his faith in God, has brought him to this celebration today. Go ahead. Babatunde Idarisu, also completing a degree in Energy and Environmental Policy. Thanks his wife and daughter who have all supported him in the 5-year journey. He is an energy policy manager with Maryland Energy Administration. Kaylin McDonough, accompanied by Aaron Knight, completing a PhD in Urban Affairs and Public Policy. She thanks her parents who provided unconditional love even though she was unwilling to leave school for the last 26 of her life. She thanks her partner for keeping her laughing. She's a postdoc researcher with the Partnership for Healthy Communities at UD. John Wambui, completing his degree in urban affairs and public policy, accompanied by his advisor, Minion Morrison. When John was 10 years old, he was given the name of Street Rat, as he was one of the 60,000 homeless kids in the streets of Nairobi, Kenya, wearing rags for clothes and picking food from garbage and sleeping in tunnels and dark street corridors. No longer Street Rat, but Dr. Wambui. He shares that he has brought He also shares that he brought a few of his resumes along if anyone is interested and would like a copy. That concludes the students from the Biden School.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Palesko, and I have the great privilege of serving as Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Today, we celebrate the conferral of doctoral degrees to 151 students from the College of Arts and Sciences. These include students who have demonstrated the highest levels of scholarly excellence in the fields of applied mathematics, art history, biological sciences, chemistry and biochemistry, criminology, English, history, linguistics, mathematics, physics, political science and international relations, preservation studies, psychology, and sociology. To today's arts and science graduates, I'd like to offer one piece of advice. You've demonstrated tremendous tenacity and perseverance. You've shown that you've cultivated the essential habit of curiosity. You've shown tremendous capacity for individual scholarly achievement, and just as importantly, you've demonstrated your ability to work with and learn from others. My advice to you is to never lose these habits and seek each day to grow them further. Continue to cultivate your curiosity. Always seek new ways to work with and learn from others. If you continue to grow the skills you've already demonstrated, I have no doubt that each and every one of you will have remarkable careers. I congratulate you on the successes you've had thus far, and I look forward to hearing about all of your future endeavors. I'd now like to ask all of the students from the College of Arts and Sciences to please come forward.
Go ahead, thank you. We welcome Aaron Holohan, completing a degree in chemistry and biochemistry under the mentorship of Dr. Carl Bookish. Aaron's advice: be patient. Sometimes you have to go through the worst to get the best. And certainly Dr. Bookish and Dr. Brown just did that as well, as celebrating with her today for her successes. Just stop at the gray mark. Okay. Sana Rani, completing a PhD in biochemistry and chemistry, accompanied by her advisor, Andrew Teplakov. Sana explains that she came from a family where girls are expected to get married and raise children once they finish primary school. With the help of her father and sisters still back in Pakistan, she was able to change that trajectory, and here she is with the mentorship of such wonderful people as Dr. Teplakov. Meng Jia, accompanied by Lar Gundlach, completing a degree in chemistry and biochemistry. Meng sends a message to his lab mates. All your dreams will come true if you can stay hungry, stay foolish, and follow your heart and intuition to pursue them. Meng has accepted a position in Applied Materials Incorporated in San Jose, California. Oh, you got out of order. Cinia Rezadeh, accompanied by whose advisor was Donald Watson. Thanks to our good friends in Pfizer and Moderna, it is great that we can finally have this celebration. Cinia is a senior scientist in Adhesives, a Delaware-based chemical pharmaceutical company. Cinia has a favorite message. When all your desires are distilled, you can just cast 2 votes, to love more and be happy. Wei Wan, completing a degree in chemistry and biochemistry. She shares, "Dear UD, you give every one of us a pair of wings to fly higher and further. We all have a common name, UD graduates. I wish professors have students all over the world." Javon Rob Lynch, completing a degree in chemistry and biochemistry. Thanks Lee Sieverberg for not only being an undergraduate research advisor, but also a mentor and friend. Lee played an important role in his career path and a major reason why he attended graduate school. He has been there for every step since the sophomore year in college. Joanna Herman, accompanied by her advisor, Sharon Neal. Joanna shares that many dedicated and kind people fostered professionalism, confidence, and wisdom, enabling her to become an informed and caring scientist and educator. Joanna has accepted a position as a general chemistry laboratory coordinator at Michigan State University. Yinan Zhang, also being hooded by her advisor, Sharon Neal. Yinan states that Dr. Neal was a tremendous advisor and through her mentorship grew as a research scientist. Her message is to all to never give up. Priyawal Paudel, accompanied and advised by Xiaozhou Zhang from chemistry and biochemistry. Priyawal says, "It always seems impossible until it is done." He is now a product development scientist at Acrobiosystems. Go ahead. Justin Krasnomowitz, accompanied by his advisor, Murray Johnston. He thanks Dr. Johnston and everyone else who made this accomplishment possible. Justin has accepted a mass specialist scientist position at Ethicon. Michael Aprosardo, accompanied by Dr. Murray Johnston in chemistry and biochemistry. Thanks Dr. Johnson for his mentorship and support in preparing him for the next chapter in his professional career, which is a product manager at CDS Analytical in Oxford, Pennsylvania. Junyui Zhao. After several years of working in industry, the PhD experience is the most challenging period in her life. She thanks everyone who has offered her friendly hands and support during the time she was here in her studies. I will continue to pass on your love after my graduation. Emily Chartrand, completing the PhD degree in art history, accompanied by Lauren Peterson. She thanks Dr. Peterson for her outstanding mentorship, whose advice and suggestions were invaluable. Colin Nelson Dusick, completing a PhD in art history, accompanied by his advisor, Nina Kallmeyer. Colin plans to express his thanks face-to-face rather than at this crowd to Nina, to fellow students, parents, wife, and daughters. I'm sure all of you will do the same. Sarah Leonard, completing a PhD in art history, accompanied by her advisor, Sandy Eisenstadt. Sarah explains that when she was finishing her dissertation, one of the thoughts that kept her motivated was, when this is done, I get to wear the silly hat and fancy robe. Then 2020 came and she didn't get to wear the silly hat or the fancy robe, but is happy to be wearing them today. Carasala. Margarita Carasalas, accompanied by her advisor, Wendy Bellion, completing the PhD in art history. Margarita is the assistant curator of the American art at the Brooklyn Museum. She wrote her dissertation almost entirely while having to work full-time. Many thanks to Wendy Bellion for her mentorship, so as to become the first person in her family to earn a PhD. Hillary Widener, accompanied by her advisor, Donna Wolf, completing a degree in biological sciences. Hillary says that 2020 was a whirlwind, and she could not have become the first doctor in her family without the support of her parents, husband, and friends. Hillary is a medical writer at Alpha Biocom, a medical communications agency. Nina Faye Sempilo, accompanied by her advisor, Jia Song, completing a PhD in biological sciences. She says to her mom and dad, "This is our graduation day." Okay. Samuel Allgood, accompanied by his advisor, Ramona Newubel, a PhD in biological sciences. Sam says that his time at Delaware changed him in ways he would never have expected, and is looking forward to putting what he has learned to use. He said, "Ramona has always pushed him to be the best he can be." Rebecca Knoll is also being hooded by Ramona. And we have the opportunity to graduate another first as a doctor in a family. She is a senior scientist at Eurofin's Lancaster Labs. Sandeep Ariel, completing a PhD in biological sciences. Sandeep says it did not take blood, sweat, or tear to get the PhD. All it took were some espressos, some tequilas, and some crazy friends to enjoy the ride. He is off to Harvard Medical School as a postdoc fellow in the Department of Neurology in Massachusetts General Hospital. Shamath Chandrasekhara, accompanied by his advisor, Shuo Wei, also completing a degree in biological sciences. Shamath reminds us all that education is a blessing. He comes from Sri Lanka and has found that Dr. Wei and so many other wonderful people are here at UD. Lou will be up there. Go on up. Nicholas Russell, being hooded by his advisor, Louis Rossi, completing a degree in applied mathematics. Nick thanks his family who believed in him for the past 27 years of his life, even though for the first 14 years he dipped his strawberries in ketchup. That would have been enough for them to stop the train there. Math is a place that he can find out that he can fail, get back up, and want to start again. He implores students to find a place to fail and then find your passion to succeed. Rossi, I know. Go on up. Go on up. Hansen Pei is also a student of Dr. Rossi in applied mathematics. Hansen is grateful to all who have meticulously mentored him on practicing a skill, being it in applied math, writing, coding, or sports. He says studying applied math is his best life decision made so far and plans to work as a quantitative research in the finance industry. Melissa Fuentes, accompanied by Rakesh, completing a PhD in mathematics. She knows that a famous person, Paul Erdos, once said, "A mathematician is a device for turning coffee into theorems." After all the coffee she has consumed in the past 5 years, not only has she produced theorems, she can actually hear them. She's accepted an assistant professor position in the Department of Math and Statistics at Villanova University. Benjamin Silivetti, accompanied by his advisor, Richard Brown, completing a PhD in mathematics. Benjamin is continuing his research on a mathematical model of solar cells here at UD as a postdoctoral researcher. Rayanne Luke, also under the mentorship of Dr. Braun. This is her 3rd degree. She says, "This one is for you, Dad." Also, she says, "What has a math girl got to do to get a radian?" For those who are not mathematicians, a radian is a unit of angle equal to an angle at the center of a circle whose arc is equal in length to the radius. Rayanne will be a joint postdoc fellow with Johns Hopkins University and the National Institute for Standards and Technology. Bradley Fain, completing a PhD in mathematics under the direction of Robert Coulter. Bradley says thank you to his mother, who's watching in Montgomery, Alabama, but his father is here in the audience today. Bradley is currently under review for a research position with the U.S. Department of Defense. Patrick Cesares, also under the mentorship of Robert Coulter. Patrick, being a mathematician, tallies up that 7.5 years at UD, 2 years at UC San Diego, 4 years at Villanova, and 12 years at primary and secondary school. He is finally ready to begin his life as a mathematician. He is aiming to be a researcher at the National Security Agency of the U.S. federal government. Andrew Gray, accompanied by his advisor, Karen Parker, completing a degree in criminology. Andrew is in pursuit of a faculty position where he looks forward to the next chapter so as to continue his research and grow further as a scholar in criminology. He is thankful for the friendships he has made while at UD, the opportunities he has had, and the guidance from his advisor. Patricia Becker, completing a PhD in criminology under the mentorship of Ronette Bachman. Patricia says that graduate school felt like a roller coaster, with many ups and downs, but the journey was special in that she learned amazing things along the way from compassionate and dedicated mentors. She will be an assistant professor in the Department of Criminology at the College of New Jersey. Shannon Streisel, under the mentorship of Ronette Bachman, completing a degree in criminology. Shannon's family always says that she did this on her own, but Shannon says it was a 100% team effort and that she had the best team. She is going to be a professor in sociology and criminology at Villanova University. Catherine Kafanik, accompanied by Susan Miller, completing a PhD in criminology. Catherine reminds us that in 20 and 21, we experienced a global pandemic, an unusual amount of natural disasters across the world, a contentious presidential campaign, the proliferation of social movements, and more. She says we faced the dissertation defense, job market search, and graduation all at once from a TH program. We crushed it. She is going to be assistant professor in criminology and victimology at California State University in Fresno. Eva Carcieri, accompanied by also her advisor Susan Miller, completing a PhD in sociology. Eva is the director of special court programs at the Family Court, where she leads various court improvement initiatives related to domestic violence, child welfare, and juvenile justice. She would not have been able to succeed with all the people at UD, her parents and husband. Rachel Riding, accompanied by her advisor, Asia Friedman, completing a PhD in sociology. Rachel wants to recognize all the moms getting degrees today. Graduate school is hard enough without a pandemic, and we all had to overcome so much this past year that any of us ever anticipated. She has joined the Center for Drug and Health Studies at UD as a limited-term researcher. Alkalini, She's completing a PhD in sociology under the direction of Yasser Payne. She is a research scientist in early childhood education. Virginia Barron, completing a PhD in sociology under the direction of Ann Bell. Ginger says it has taken 13 years from getting her GED high school diploma to the PhD. In fall of 21, she's going to be an assistant professor of sociology at Texas A&M International University. Casey Stewart, accompanied by his advisor, Edward Larkin, completing a PhD in English. Casey says that looks like reading old books about trees finally paid off. We'll have to ask what that means. He's the assistant director for programs and experiential learning at Washington College's START Center. Amelia Cheney, accompanied by her advisor, Emily Davis, in the Department of English. Amelia's dissertation project began its germination as an independent study on post-colonial studies in the early year of being a graduate student. Completing the dissertation on indigenous narratives during the global upheaval of 2020 reinforced the importance of socially engaged scholarship that addresses real-world issues of environmental equity, particularly for historically marginalized people of color. Michael Harris Payton, accompanied by Thomas Leach and also Emily Davis as an advisor. Michael discovered that his research had 3 phases. 1, everything in his research is brand new. 2, all of his research is common knowledge. Oh no. 3, some of the knowledge is wrong, so I'll fix it. Michael was setting out to uncover the buried international heritage of popular crime fiction. Mally Collins, completing a PhD in English. As a graduate student who is a mom, Mally's son was born 12 days after her first day at UD. And then she was pregnant with her second child during qualifying exams. Her dissertation is dedicated to oppressed people everywhere. In the fall, Mally will be assistant professor of African American literature at Howard University. Clayton Coleman, accompanied by his advisor, Jean Faisal, from the Department of English. Clayton's research revolves around utopic visions of the future, particularly when it comes to Black folks, queer folks, and people of color. Through his review of literature, film, music, he has been working on the answer to lifelong questions. What does this say about who we are, and why should any of it matter? Clayton keeps a note on his desk below his computer. It reads, "Toil a while, endure a while, and never turn back." But to be clear, he confesses that the words came from a fortune cookie, but that does not rob them of the power. He wants us all to be reminded to not turn back, to toil for a better world. He wishes freedom, joy, and love, and good fortune to each of you in the coming days. Caitlin Laracy, accompanied by his advisor, Sean Zesnick, from the Department of English. Caitlin is joining Johns Hopkins University as a Mellon Postdoctoral Fellow in Program Design and Student Mentoring in the Office of Undergraduate Research, Scholarly, and Creative Activity. Go ahead. Nagami Razi, accompanied by Thomas Leach from the Department of English. In the brightness of this moment, she greets her father 7,000 miles away, but close to her heart, who has had a dream that has given her hope to keep going. She is now working on writing a book. Carrie Glenn, accompanied by Owen White. Carrie, congratulations. You are the Seifert Dissertation Prize Award winner for 2021. Carrie is an assistant professor at Niagara University, where she teaches courses in early American and Atlantic history. She lauds Dr. Matson and White for their interest and support in her academic work. Michelle Everidge, accompanied by her advisor, Rebecca Davis, from the Department of History. Michelle had a baby while writing her dissertation, and that baby is now 5. She learned early on that Mama was becoming a doctor, but not a doctor that gives shots, a doctor of history. When you ask her today what a doctor of history does, she will tell you that I read a lot of books and type on a computer. That seems about right. She's chief of strategic initiatives at the Whitty Museum in San Antonio, Texas. Inman Badar, completing a degree in linguistics under the direction of Irene Vogel. Inman's name means faith, so having faith is not a choice, but is her identity. Faith in yourself and hard work paves the road for your successes. Stefan Bartel, accompanied by Satoshi Tomioka and Fred Adams. The journey of the PhD has led Stefan to become a better thinker and researcher. Stefan is considering working on another degree. Still wants to learn more, either about psychology, communication sciences, or disorders or medicine. Jiaqing Zhang. Jiaqing Zhang is accompanied by his advisor from physics, Anderson Janati. He is from China and is the first person in his family to go to college and dedicates this degree to his parents. He has accepted a position as a software engineer in Bloomberg. Mitchell Dorrell, completing a degree in physics, accompanied by his advisor, Edward Lyman. Mitchell shares that the road that brought him to this ceremony started long before he came to UD, and he owes a debt of gratitude to his family and several mentors along the way of the 23 years of his educational studies. Vimal Jeepchan, completing a PhD in physics. His first and foremost words of gratitude go to Professor Hajapanias for accepting him in his group and providing many research ideas. His guidance and flexibility in giving him free rein to try out ideas has been an important part of his journey to become a better scientist. Go ahead. Owner Thompson. Owner says that UD's community played the key role of support in the last 8 years of his life and has now led him to a postdoc research in the Department of Physics at the University of Illinois, which he says is considered to be the best in condensed matter physics in the country, according to the metrics. As a UD graduate, he feels he is a world citizen, and wherever he goes, people will know how great UD is. This is priceless, he says. Swanee Barrell, also completing a PhD in physics under the direction of Edward Lyman. Swapnil thanks his mother, father, spouse, and advisor and his best friend in Newark, which is White Clay Creek. He is a research assistant at NIST, University of Maryland. Go ahead. You can go ahead. You can go ahead. Shirin Pourmiri. She's Assistant VP in the Citibank in Dallas, Texas. As an international student, she said her social life and interactions were limited at times, but with the support of her family thousands of miles away, it still eased the difficult times to help her become the person she is today. Hang Chen, accompanied by Dr. John Chow from physics. Thanks Dr. Chow for his continuous support. He is going to continue on as a postdoc at UD for the time being. Riddhi Bandiopahahe, completing a PhD in physics. Thanks all of the lovely people at UD for making it a wonderful journey, and the zero sales tax really helped. He is a postdoc researcher at Princeton University. Buzra Solyumez, accompanied by her advisors, Daniel Kinderman and Benjamin Bagosi. Buzra came to UD's doctoral program at the age of 21 right out of college with very limited life experiences. After a quarter of her life now, she's met her husband and developed lifelong friends and has gratitude for amazing advisors and faculty. She is going to be an assistant professor at Bucknell University starting this fall. Anna Nuzalizi, accompanied by her advisor, Benjamin Bagosi, completing a PhD in political science and international relations. The completion of the degree would not have been possible without the invaluable advice, continued support, and endless patience of her advisor, Dr. Benjamin Bagosi. Thank you for believing in this project even before she became a blue hen. Kelsey Obringer, accompanied by her advisor, Claire Rasmussen, completing a PhD in political science and international relations. She thanks her committee, her members, her parents and friends, even for believing in her when she did not believe in herself. She is employed at Johns Hopkins University as a student success advisor who will mentor first-generation and limited-income students. Angela Orvieto, accompanied by her advisor, Kara Ellerby. Congratulations, Angela. You are the best dissertation prize in 2021 for the Ryden Prize. Angel's study was inspired by the timeless work and experiences of survivors, victims, and minorities in armed conflicts that perpetuated inequalities in her homeland of Colombia. She was inspired to do her work by her grandmother to continue to study women and gender disparities, even when she was a young child. Susan Weaver. Susan Weaver's advisor was Kara Elberry. Susan is a first-generation student and feels that the accomplishment of earning this degree is only possible due to the incredible love and support of family, friends, colleagues, and mentors. The journey was not easy, and many times she questions whether it was right for her. But through hard work and support of others, she is forever grateful to stay determined and be awarded this degree today. Olga Jeremisimenko, completing a PhD in political science and international relations, advised by Dr. Khan. Olga's parents are joining us today virtually from her hometown in Russia. Olga thanks UD, her department, and her advisor for graduate school years, making an incredible chapter of her life. She is celebrating the 10th year of her history here at UD in the United States. Elizabeth Alpert, completing a PhD in psychological and brain sciences, accompanied by her advisor, Adele Hayes. Elizabeth says to her family and friends who have guided her along the way, and she promises she won't make them call her doctor. She has a women's health fellowship at the National Center for Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder in Boston, Massachusetts. Zachary Zursky, completing a PhD in psychological and brain sciences with his advisor, Anna Klinsova. Zachary returned to UD for this celebration from his postdoc fellowship at Yale School of Medicine in the Department of Anesthesiology. He misses the rest of the Klinsova lab grad students and RAs. Emily Sorciana, completing a PhD in psychology and brain sciences, along with her advisor, Jean Felipe Lorenzo. She shares a quote from Carl Rogers: "The only person who is educated is the one who has learned how to learn and change." She's a research scientist at Scripps Whittier Diabetes Institute in San Diego, California. Christina Moore, accompanied by her advisor, Julie Hubbard. She's a postdoctoral child psychology fellow at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center, Gesell School of Medicine. She is working on improving mental health outcomes among at-risk teens. Nami Tsunami, accompanied by his advisor, Lisa Jermeka, completing a PhD in psychology. He wants to thank his wife, Giselle, for her wisdom and guidance on his high and low days. Lindsay Jazak, completing a PhD in psychological and brain sciences, accompanied by her advisor, Mary Dozier. Thanks her peers in the Dozier Lab, which is called the ABC Lab, the Attachment and Behavioral Catch-Up Lab, for 6 years. The years were fun as well as challenging. Lindsay is a postdoc fellow at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Caroline Abbott is a PhD student under the direction of Roger Skoback. Sends a special thanks to Dr. Koback for his mentorship and support, and her family, friends, and husband. She's a postdoc fellow at Boston VA Medical Center. Abigail Zisk, under the direction of Dr. Koback also, is a postdoc fellow at the Clinical Psychology in the New York Presbyterian Hospital. These past 6 years have been extremely meaningful for her. This completes the students from the College of Arts and Sciences.
I'm Bruce Weber, Dean of the Alfred Lerner College of Business and Economics. It's my pleasure today to welcome and recognize the students receiving a PhD in either economics or financial services analytics from the Lerner College. First, Lerner's economists, who do remarkable research in counterintuitive ways. They develop analytical models of consumption and production under resource scarcity in order to spread abundance. They measure costly transactional frictions and identify market failures in order to raise living standards for all. They derive rigorous insights into how individuals and organizations make critical decisions, and their results promote social welfare. Researchers working in financial services analytics identify critical patterns and generate big insights from big data. They seek to achieve both predictive accuracy and interpretability in their machine learning algorithms. They use both supervised and unsupervised training to facilitate deep learning and support all people with better artificial intelligence tools. PhD graduates, the original scholarship in your dissertation contributes to the disciplines of economics and financial services analytics and improves the ways societies manage and use scarce resources. The Lerner faculty have worked to ensure not only your personal educational progression, but that your research advances your field of study and that you have developed as an independent scholar. Please continue to build on your successes here at UD. My forecast is that your predictive methodologies, parsimonious models, and statistically significant empirical results will improve the functioning of organizations and economies and will lift your personal satisfaction as a result. With great pleasure, I welcome you to the growing body of Lerner doctoral alumni. With the students receiving PhDs from the Lerner College of Business and Economics and their advisors, please come forward.
Zachary Ferrara, accompanied by his advisor, Carlos Asada, completing a PhD in economics education. Zachary says to those sitting here today and to those who will come after, the gift of that knowledge we have received and will continue to cultivate is one that is not ours alone, but is to be shared generously and abundantly throughout our lives. Sammy Dagba, advised by Dr. Stockman with a PhD in economics. Sammy dedicates his accomplishments to his parents who are not able to be here due to COVID, but thanks his aunt and uncle who are here today in their place. He says the key to success for completing the PhD is perseverance, along with a lot of comfort, food, of course. He is a J.P. Morgan Chase associate. Krista Buda, accompanied by his advisor, James Buckowitz. Christy thanks his family, committee, and faculty for their support and guidance during his time as a student, and is so grateful to share this moment with them. He is an associate to strategic business analyst at J.P. Morgan Chase. Chunling Peng, also advised by Jane Butkowitz, completing a PhD in economics. Chunling says, "I am out of class, but I'll stay classy." Go ahead. Tiffany Magny, with her advisor Matthew White from economics. Tiffany says that PhD is not only one of the biggest achievements in her life so far, but that proves perseverance, faith, and hard work always pays off. Her husband is also graduating in this ceremony today. Heo Chang, accompanied by his advisors, Sylvan Yin Yang and Paul Locks, completing a PhD in economics. Heo tells us, "When I choose to research the financial market uncertainty, I never doubt my research will impact the world, but I hope the world with such a high level of uncertainty is not due to my dissertation topic." He is a manager of risk analysis and modeling at Charles Schwab and Company. Deason Wang. Not you? Yes. I'm sorry. Okay. Who is next? Okay. Nigin Faraji, completing a PhD in financial services analytics under the direction of Adam Fleischhacker. He is a data scientist at Virginia Tech University, is extremely proud of what she has learned and achieved in the journey to the PhD at UD. Deason Wang, completing a PhD in financial services analytics with his advisor, Huey Feng. Deason is an analyst at Morningstar. He says, "Try the U dairy after the ceremony. It is really good." Mingyun Hee, completing a PhD in financial services analytics, accompanied by her advisor, Rick Andrews. Her philosophy is, don't aim for success if you really want it. Just stick to what you love and believe in, and it will come naturally. She is employed by Amazon as a research scientist. This completes the students from the Lerner College of Business and Economics.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Estella Atekwana, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Dean of the College of Earth, Ocean, and Environment. In the College of Earth, Ocean, and Environment, our faculty and students advance understanding of the Earth, the oceans, the environment, human interactions with the environment. We use this knowledge to resolve critical issues facing society, such as climate change, energy, water, food security. We also use this sound science to help shape policy. Today we have 10 students receiving their doctoral degrees in marine science, marine studies, climatology, geography, bioinformatics, and data science, water science, and policy and ocean engineering. My advice to our graduates is that you're leaving today with a degree and a toolbox. And this toolbox includes the skills you've acquired during your dissertation. Do not let your degree limit you or define who you become, but use the fundamental knowledge you've gained and the skills in this toolbox, which includes perseverance, tenacity, flexibility, compassion, teamwork, critical thinking, problem solving, so that you can go out there and change the world and help address society's grand challenges. I'm pleased to present to you today the recipients in the College of Earth, Ocean, and Environment, would you please rise and come forward and get your degrees?
Okay, go on up. Okay. Wait. John Callahan, completing a PhD in climatology under the direction of Daniel Leathers. John is a scientist at the Delaware Geological Survey at UD and hopes to begin teaching courses in climate and meteorology. His forecasts for the future: plenty of sunny days ahead, but bring your umbrella just in case. Also, follow your dreams. Lena Wang, completing a degree in oceanography with her advisor, Shansha Yan. Zhangjian Ouyang, accompanied by his advisor, Fabrice Veron, completing a PhD in oceanography. He is continuing his research at UD as a postdoc as he is researching biogeochemistry in the Arctic Ocean under the direction of Dr. Veron. He wants to help answer to this question: will the Arctic Ocean absorb more CO2 gas under a changing climate as rapid warming and sea ice loss has reduced the CO2 uptake capacity in the Central Arctic Ocean? This completes the students from the College of Earth, Ocean, and Environment.
Getting a little warm out there, I guess. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gary Henry, and it is my distinct honor and privilege to serve as the Dean of the College of Education and Human Development. The hooding ceremony is one of the most auspicious and joyous events in academic life. It marks tremendous accomplishment, conveying the highest degree in our fields of study. On behalf of the faculty of the college, I offer heartfelt congratulations to our doctoral degree recipients. Never has it been more imperative or more urgent for you, our doctoral students, to build on the knowledge and skills acquired during your time in our programs, to generate new knowledge and apply what you have learned for the benefit of children, adults, families, and communities. Whether you intend to apply your knowledge and skills in the study of complex human and social interactions, or to translate research into action, the world needs you to once again thrive and prosper as society lifts itself out of the throes of the pandemic and searches for ways to achieve racial and social justice. Today we are honoring graduates in human development and family sciences, in educational statistics and research methods, in educational leadership, in education with specialties in learning sciences, sociocultural and community-based approaches, evaluation, measurement, and statistics, school psychology, and mathematics education. Congratulations to our doctoral degree recipients on all you have accomplished, and my sincere thanks to your family, friends, and academic mentors who supported you on this journey. My faculty colleagues and I wish you continued success as you move on to the next stages of your career. Will the doctoral degree candidates please step forward?
Go ahead. Anna Tigan, completing a Doctor of Education, advised by Zobeda Dagher. Thanks, Zobeda, for all the support that she has provided throughout her degree. Diane Coding, completing a PhD in education under the directorship of Elizabeth Soslow. Thanks, Dr. Soslow, Dr. Musa, and others who have mentored her along the way. She's going to begin a postdoctoral fellowship at Northwestern University. Go ahead. Sarah Gartland, completing a PhD in education, again under the direction of Elizabeth Soslow. After 22 semesters and 3 summer sessions, Sarah is graduating with her 4th degree from UD, bachelor's, 2 masters, and now the PhD. She is headed to the postdoctoral research position at the Center for Pedagogy and Public Engagement at the National University of Ireland, Galway. Angela Soltis, completing a PhD in education under the direction of George Baer. One of Angela's favorite memories with Dr. Baer is traveling to China and Japan with him and his wife to present their research at the national conference at the International School of Psychology. Go ahead. Felicia Hurwitz, completing a PhD in education with the advisor of Dr. Henry May. Felicia says, having become a mom for the first time, she can say that experiences during her doctoral students prepared her well for motherhood. Lots of sleepless nights and tears, but a smile just around the corner. Andrew Hurwitz, advised by Dr. Henry May. Andrew says that 5 years seem like a long time when you begin the doctoral journey. This quote helped him through the time. Smell the roses, blow out the candles. He's a lead data scientist and area director for commercial healthcare life sciences at Mathica. Was that Krista? That was Krista, right? Okay. Krista Jensen, accompanied by her advisor, Kathleen Minke, with a PhD in education. When Krista thinks back, she realizes how important the field of school psychology is for her. After all, you have to be a little crazy when you choose to center your dissertation around teenagers and their relationship quality with their parents. She's a school psychologist at the John G. Leach School within the Colonial School District in Delaware. Amber Bilyakov, accompanied by her dissertation education advisor, Nancy Jordan. Sends many thanks to her friends, family, and mentors for their continued support. She's a research associate in the Center for Early Learning at West AD, impacting the lives of children, youth, and adults. Okay. Go ahead. Brianna Devlin, also advised by Nancy Jordan, sends many thanks to her families, friends, and mentors for continued support. She is a research associate in the Department of Human and Development Family Studies at Purdue University. Here, Lynette. Lynette Ross, advised by Ratna Numakumar. She completed a PhD in education. Lynette's father would often say, don't stand on the corner saying you could have, because you could have. Well, she's on the stage today, but she never gave up, no matter the struggles and the journeys. She is a psychometrician at MBME that creates assessment tools to assist medical school educators in measuring students' knowledge and providing actionable feedback. Daniela Avalar Guerrero, PhD in education, advised by Roberta Golenkoff. Daniela's parents flew here from El Salvador to be here today. Others are watching virtually. She dedicates her PhD to her grandfather, who instilled the value of education, and to her grandmother, who said she wanted her to be a doctor, but didn't specify the kind of doctor. She's a research associate at the University of North Texas. Caroline Guerrero, also accompanied by her research advisor, Roberta Golenkoff. Caroline thanks Dr. Golenkoff for being able to work in a lab full of toys, puppets, and baby giggles. She's a postdoc research analyst at TMW. Marcia Preston, also under the mentorship of Roberta Golenkoff. Marcia is a research analyst in UD's Office of Institutional Research. She did her research in Child's Play Lab, where she learned, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Kelly Curtis, completing a PhD in education with her advisor, Amanda Jensen. Kelly never imagined that she would pursue a PhD when she was growing up. She is employed as a mathematical instructional specialist with the Professional Development Center for Educators at UD. Go ahead. Kathleen Wilson. Kathleen also was advised by Amanda Jensen. The foundations of math education classes were the highlights of Kathleen's time in the program and have left profound and lasting impact on her as an educator. She's a secondary math instructor at St. George's Technical High School. Jessica Parcell, under the advisorship of Charles Hennessy, is completing the Doctor of Educational Leadership degree. Where's Donna Poor? Wait a minute, out of order. Donna Poor. Donna Poor, completing her Educational Leadership degree under Laura Eisman. Donna quotes Bruce Springsteen, so walk tall or baby don't walk at all. She's a Newcastle County Vocational Technical District ELA and Social Studies specialist. Leah. Go ahead. Leah Anderson, also under the leadership of Laura Eisenman. She says, in the words of Malcolm X, education is a passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Achieving the EDD is a stamp on her passport, as it is an accomplishment for Leah, a first-generation college student, and her family. Now, okay, go ahead. Nathalia Prince-Nicholas, under the direction of Laura Eisenman. Nathalie's family has been the inspiration to keep striving and biggest supporter, providing the help needed to manage it all. She is the assistant principal at Hodgson Vocational Technical High School. Jennifer Hammer, accompanied by Douglas Archibald. Jennifer says, here's to learning, challenges, professors, colleagues, friends, and gummy bears. Now let's take a positive impact on students. Go ahead. Elizabeth Kelleher, accompanied by her advisor, Charles MacArthur. Elizabeth hopes to never hear again, let's peer edit, never again. Nevertheless, she does realize that without her classmates, professors, and others, she would not have completed the journey. She's a part of a statewide readiness program that is moving students closer to their career and post-secondary goals. Nidal Abusi, accompanied by Elizabeth Farley Ripple. Nidal's parents were illiterate, but managed to push their 5 children to graduate college as doctors and engineers. Nidal's 3 children have finished college, 2 are undergrads at UD, and twins are graduating from elementary school next week. He's a school principal at the Islamic Academy of Delaware. Education is worthless unless invested to serve justice, and peace. Catherine Lakowski, under the direction of Elizabeth Farley Ripple. She says, "It may have taken me many years, but I finally did it." She's the Director of Workforce Development and Community Education, Delaware Tech Community College. Sterling Siemens, Educational Leadership under the direction of Elizabeth Farley Ripple. He's a school administrator for Cecil County Public Schools, Maryland. Elizabeth Teralicki, also advised by Dr. Elizabeth Farley Ripple. Elizabeth cannot think of a more worthwhile occasion for which to put on real clothes for the first time in over a year, but graduating makes all of it worth it. 7 years, 2 jobs, 1 marriage, 1 baby, 2 houses. Not sure who is happiest, her husband or her advisor. Molly Carter, accompanied by her advisor, Erica Litke. For 5 years, Molly has driven 2 hours and 15 minutes each way from Selbyville, Delaware, to come to the UD campus, and on which nights dinner at Boston Market became a standard, or maybe it was the ice cream at the dairy. But she would do it all over again to have this opportunity. She is so thankful, and she is sure that Erica Litke is the queen of tracked changes. Matthew Wells, accompanied by his advisor, Faith Muirhead. When Matthew was a child, he remembers how patient and supportive his mother was while his father worked on his doctorate. He luckily found a wife as loving as his mom. His only regret is that his children do not have to wear a tie and endure such a long ceremony as he is. He remembers the mug nights of the balloon when he was an undergrad at UD, but no more. Aviva Hine, accompanied by her advisor, Fred Hofstetter. Aviva studied online learning as a part of her educational leadership portfolio, a topic, by the way, that proved in 2021 to be very timely. She is the Assistant Director of Digital Learning at UD's Division of Professional and Continuing Studies. Bridget Duda, accompanied by Joshua Wilson. Bridget is the MED Exceptional Children and Youth 4+1 Coordinator and Supervisor and Clinical Coordinator for Special Education at UD. She is accompanied by her advisor, Joshua Wilson. Jennifer Martin is accompanied by her advisor as well, Joshua Wilson. Moving from Principal Martin to Dr. Martin at the Caesar Rodney School District in Delaware. She remembers her daughter Jocelyn, wishing she were here to witness her success. Megan Davidson, accompanied by her advisor Nancy Levigny. UD has been good to her and her family. This is Megan's 3rd degree from UD. Her mother and grandmother also graduated from UD. No pressure for her 2 children. Kimberly Wagner, completing a degree of a Doctor of Education under Sharon Wolpole. During the defense of Kimberly's ELP, she had to do Zoom due to COVID. A storm moved in, ripped the siding off her house. The technology glitched. Her children were told not to interrupt, but they barged in and interrupted. All this while, she was under the eye of some of the people she looked up to most. Kim, you must have still done a great job. You're here today. Anastasia Purington, with her advisor, Steve Amendum. Anastasia calls herself a very proud blue hen. She has completed multiple degrees at UD. Some of her friends and family, however, still wonder and aren't entirely sure what has she studied. Go ahead. Go on up. Rachel Anderson, accompanied by William Lewis. Rachel figures her mom is now crying as she's sitting in the audience, along with her husband and 3 teenage children. She's Director of Workforce Development and Community Education at Delaware Tech Community College. Sean Johnson, supported during his degree by William Lewis. He is a principal of Perryville Middle School. He says, thanks to Angie for keeping his feet on the ground so that his head could be in the clouds. May perseverance always be an example to you to do the same. Moms and dads in the audience, thanks for cheering us on. Rui Wang, completing a PhD in educational statistics and research methods. Wisdom he has learned from his children. Always ask why until you understand everything. He has unbiased judgment from Dr. May. Eat an apple, but use Microsoft. Go ahead. Ming Fan not here. Okay. Laura Cutler, advised by Rena Alham and Rob Palkovich, completing a PhD in Human Development and Family Studies. Laura is a postdoc researcher at The Ohio State University studying early language and literacy development, with particular interest in home literacy experiences and picture book portrayals. Daniel Reiser, under the study of Rena Hallman, Human Development and Family Studies. The friends and mentors like Dr. Hallam have changed her life forever and made grad school the best years of her life. P.S. She met her husband at orientation. Jin Tang, completing a PhD in Human Development and Family Studies under the direction of Rena Hallman. She's the first person in her family to attend college, ever study abroad, and now earned a PhD. Her fiance thinks she's picked the perfect major because obviously nothing beats being a childhood education expert to help your future kids. Natalie Brousseau, under the direction of Valerie Earnshaw, completing a PhD in Human Development and Family Studies. Earning the PhD has given her confidence and skills to live a rewarding life of helping others. She is headed to the University of Connecticut for a postdoc position studying stigma and other social detriments of health among people living in substance use disorders and HIV. That concludes the degrees being honored to the students in the College Education and Human Development.
Good evening. My name is Levi Thompson, and I have the great honor of being, hold on to your script, the Dean of the College of Engineering here at the University of Delaware. It's a tremendous pleasure for me to be here to celebrate with those of you and do it in person. Today, we honor all of those who are earning their PhDs here at the University of Delaware, the highest degree that is offered by our institution. In fact, the very first doctoral degree ever awarded here at the University of Delaware was in engineering, in fact, chemical engineering, which is my discipline. That was more than 70 years ago. Today, UD is home to a top-ranked College of Engineering, the 8th-ranked chemical engineering department in the country, and a number of other departments that are in the top 50. PhD candidates, your doctoral hood represents the completion of an ambitious intellectual journey, one that was made possible because of your perseverance and your self-discipline. The past year especially has been a testament to your adaptability, and your resilience. Today, we celebrate your achievements, and we acknowledge the tremendous support of the people who helped you and cheered you along the way. Your family, your friends, advisors, your teachers, and your mentors. As President Asanas indicated, less than 2% of the world's population ever achieves a doctoral degree. It's a rare credential reserved only for the brightest and most hardworking scholars. As you depart the University of Delaware armed with the strongest endorsement that we can offer you, I challenge you to think of this moment not as the finish line, but rather as the starting point. Starting today, you are poised to be the leaders that the world needs now more than ever. You have the power to influence change and an obligation, in fact, to leverage your knowledge and skill for the betterment of humankind. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the College of Engineering, I congratulate you on this momentous occasion. I commend you for your hard work and dedication, and we look forward to welcoming you back to campus as doctoral alumni of our program. President Asanas, it's my great honor to present to you the College of Engineering's candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for the years 2020 and 21.
Ryan McDonough, accompanied by Christopher Price. Ryan, you are the recipient of the Colburn Prize for the outstanding dissertation in the Colburn mathematical science field. Ryan says, who would have guessed that a former computer engineer would complete a doctorate, find a new field of study in biomedical engineering with the leadership of his advisor, never stop striving for greatness and success. Margot Farnham, accompanied by Christopher Price, biomedical engineering. She works with an engineering team at NISSHA Medical Technologies in Connecticut and is loving it so far. Sends a shout out to Dr. Price and all those, as well as her puppy, Maggie, for the best things to come out of the pandemic. Andija Dagaparu, accompanied by his advisor, Ryan Zurikowski, completing a PhD in biomedical engineering. He never imagined that a 3-day guest lecture from the late Dr. Prasad Daturji, UD professor of systems biology in the undergraduate days in India, would have had such an impact on her life. She dedicates her work to all the teachers and mentors in the world who continue to inspire students and their work. Anmar Cannell, accompanied by her advisor, Abraham Lenoff. She's a senior scientist at Sparks Therapeutics. Thanks Dr. Lenoff and the lab members who were mentors and true friends. Paige LaValle, accompanied by her advisor, April Glockson, PhD in chemical engineering. Based on an astronaut, Mae Jemison, who said, "Don't let anyone rob you of your imagination, your creativity, or your curiosity." That is what she has found on her way to be a scientist as a woman today. She wants to continue her work on global health challenges. Catherine Wiley, also supervised by April Glockson. She's a senior scientist at Merck. Gives one piece of advice to new PhD students: surround yourself with a strong support network of peers, friends, and family. It takes a village. Michel Jorge Wilsos, PhD in chemical engineering, along with his advisor, Arthur Gemamaran. Rudyard Kipling's quote says, "If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it." Elvis Ekabadi, with his advisor, Dionysius Vilakos. Standing here today is a testimony that success and excellence is possible irrespective of your background, race, struggles, or perceived weaknesses. He's employed in the Boston Consulting Group in Washington, D.C. office. Caitlin Wood, advised by Christopher Roberts and Erica First. Caitlin wore the exact same clothes as she did for the PhD defense and the PhD qualifying exams 4 years earlier, except that since the defense was virtual, she could wear her fuzzy socks in place of heels. She's a senior scientist in drug product development at Merck. Kimberly Dennis, advised by Eric First, PhD in chemical engineering. She's an industrial postdoc with Evanick and Allentown, Pennsylvania. Her friends, family, fiance, and her cat are all thrilled she is finally finished. Ho-Jin Kim, completing a chemical degree engineering under the directorship of Eric First. He is a postdoctoral scholar at the University of Chicago. He says, "I survived." Arnav Malakani, advised by Feng Jiao, a degree in chemical engineering. He says, just like life, a PhD is a journey that is shaped by the people you share it with. He's a senior scientist at Merck. Jayantanam Nahem, PhD in chemical engineering with his advisor, Jun Liu, and also advised by Norm Wagner. He shouts out to both Yun and Norm as the best advisors one could have. He's a scientist at Janssen Pharmaceutical working on antibiotic and vaccine therapeutics. He is super proud of helping people and training from UD to be able to do his work. Yuan Shi Liu, accompanied by his advisor, Earl Lee, civil engineering. Thanks his entire committee for leading him to the stage today. He is a civil engineer for the city of Philadelphia. Babak Abrazi, completing a PhD in civil engineering. Babak learned that he would fail at some point in his PhD journey, and he learned to accept it and not be deterred. Instead, he says, take risks, as 90% of success is built on failure. Ali Nakali, under the directorship of Paul Imhoff, completing a PhD in civil engineering. Ali explains that he has his first child at the early stage of his PhD and the second child when he finished it. He would still like more children. What should he study now? And starting in September, he has a postdoc with dual affiliation at Duke and Virginia Tech. Go ahead. Jimmy Murillo Galvez, completing a PhD in civil engineering under the directorship of Pei Shao. He says it is our obligation as global citizens to positively and transform the world. Go and use your education to do good. He is always grateful to Dr. Chow and many friends and families. He says, let's change the world together. Danwei Xin, also advised by Dr. Zhao. Today, he said, I became Dr. Xin by counting electrons. I need to thank Dr. Chow for teaching me how to count electrons correctly. Every now and then, however, her friends remind her that life is more than counting electrons. Yeshar Yafeti, also completing a degree in civil engineering. The PhD was a great opportunity to remind him that there were a lot of things he needs to learn more about. He is a coastal oceanographer at Environmental Science Associates in San Francisco Bay Area. Sayed Mohammed Salehi, advised by Xing Shen. Jokes aside, Sayed says that PhD stands for permanent head damage, but this journey definitely improved his head thought processes. He calls Dr. Shen his academic father. Penghua Li, from computer science, accompanied by his advisor, Hajat Shakeh. Penghua is grateful for building this milestone with such a talented advisor and fantastic friends at UD. He is joining IBM in research. Gangbo Zhang, also advised by Dr. Hajat Shakeh. After these years of study, he realizes how similar he is to a computational model. Learn from the past, learn from mistakes, and keep improving myself. He's a software engineer for Google. Jiangying Jiang, advised by Hajat Shakeh. Graduation is a new start. We have been equipped with abilities to think, to learn, and succeed. Let the new chapter begin. She's employed by Amazon as a research scientist. Horan Wei, with her advisor Keith Decker, PhD in computer science. Horan said that this was going to be the hardest time, but now it seems the easiest part of life. Too soon to leave, too good to forget. UD's a place where it feels like home. Blue hen forever. Jie-Fi Lei, advised by Li Leo, computer science and PhD student. Thanks, Dr. Leo, for always encouraging him to move forward and not give up. His goal is to solve real-world problems via machine learning techniques. Yi Dan Hu, completing a degree in computer science under Rui Zhang. Yi Dan could not be more thankful than having Dr. Zhang as the advisor, and as a future academic will always be helpful. She will be the assistant professor in the Department of Computing Security of Rochester Institute of Technology. Jiqing Luo, accompanied by Steven Siegel, PhD in computer science, expresses his sincere gratitude to Dr. Siegel for his wisdom and patience as a software engineer at Micro Focus Incorporated. Fatimi Sadat Hosseini, accompanied by Cheng Mo Yang, PhD in electrical and computer engineering. She's joining Qualcomm at LMMVM compiler engineer to enable machine learning for millions of users worldwide. She thanks her family and the audience for being here today. Jose Manuel Monsalve Diaz, PhD in electrical and computer engineering. Jose says that less than 2% of the world's population has a doctorate. Now we carry the burden of making life better for the other 90%, 80% of the world. He is grateful to his parents for teaching him that education is the most important instrument to a better future. He's doing a postdoc at Argonne National Laboratory. Juan Florenz Ospina, completing a PhD in electrical engineering, dedicates his degree to his family in Colombia and Portugal, especially his family. Angela Cuadros Casablanco, completing a PhD in electrical and computer engineering. She says a sentence or two is not enough to express her gratitude to family and friends. Angela's mom from Colombia flew in to be here today, and she is in the audience with her best friends. Also, please note, Angela has attended the doctoral herding convocation every year since 2014 so that she could say goodbye to her friends at that time. She says she'll keep in touch now that she has to say goodbye. Okay. Olga Marenko, advised by Willett Kempton, electrical and computer engineering. Olga tells us that when she started the PhD, she had a huge fear of public presentations. Guess what? She now has a presentation 4 times a week as a teaching assistant. Indeed, follow your fear. She is teaching at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. Her family is in the audience today who flew here from Russia. Kuang Lu, completing a PhD in electrical and computer engineering, accompanied by his advisor, Huey Fang. Is that you? Okay, next one. Kuang Lu is a software engineer at Facebook. Brian Sutherland, with his advisor, Christopher Clarkson, completing a PhD in materials science and engineering. Brian completed the PhD with Christopher Clarkson and then did a postdoc with April Clarkson and considered delaying the next step until his children were old enough to work with the Clarksons. However, that dream would be quite long. He's now going to be a postdoc at Boston University. Ji Young Lee, accompanied by Darren Pochin, completing a PhD in materials science and engineering, is a scientist at Procter & Gamble. Joe's mother is in the audience, who flew here all the way from Korea to be here today. Narayati Kumar Sinha, accompanied by Darren Pochin, completing a degree in materials science and engineering. She has warm regards to all the postdoctorate and other graduate students in the Pochin lab who have made conducting research a fun and collaborative experience even in the most stressful of times. Kung Yi Kim, completing a PhD in materials science and engineering, says, "We have finally completed a long journey to wear this cap and gown. Now it's time to step up and face another journey in our lives." Gregory Peterson, accompanied by his advisor, Lashanda Corley, completing a PhD in materials science and engineering. Greg runs ultramarathons in his free time. This experience of working toward the PhD has definitely been one. He thanks his wife for being at the finish line. He is a research chemical engineer in the U.S. Army DEVCOM Chemical Biological Center at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds. Chase Thompson, advised by Lashanda Corley, completing a PhD in materials science and engineering. He's an NRC postdoc fellow at the National Institute for Standards and Technology. Thanks all the family and friends in his research group through this process. Was Michael Lloyd here? Michael Lloyd. $181. You're on 181. Michael Lloyd, accompanied by Robert Berkman, completing a PhD in materials science. Thanks his family and friends, many of whom cannot be here today due to the global circumstances. Even though they cannot be here, they are the reason that he is here. He's a postdoc at the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory in Washington, D.C. Patrick Soar, accompanied by his advisor, Stephanie Law. He wants to thank Dr. Law, his fellow MBE group members, his family and friends, and his wife, especially during the global pandemic. Without all of their support, he would not be walking across the stage today. He will be a hardware engineer at Microsoft in their quantum computing department. Ashish Chauhan, completing a PhD in mechanical engineering under the directorship of A.J. Prasad. He says, "I am here with a heavy heart.
and full of gratitude as the world grieves in these trying times. People are hurt, nature is bleeding. I shall strive to do everything in my capacity to spread love and peace and use lessons learned during my PhD to develop sustainable energy technologies that will help the Earth live. He's currently working as a senior research scientist in Princeton, New Jersey. Indrajit Yadav, accompanied by Herbert Tanner, completing a PhD in mechanical engineering. He is a nuclear engineer turned roboticist who specializes in drone design, planning, coordination, control. He says the difference from before the degree and now after is that he has a lot more patience and perseverance, and he knows he's a lot more stupid than he thought he was. Yulin Yang, completing a PhD in mechanical engineering under the supervision of Herbert Tanner. Yulin says that 1/3 belongs to his advisor and lab, 1/3 belongs to himself, who didn't give up over the 6 years, and 1/3 belongs to his family, who supported him all the time. So he says, if you plan to pursue an engineering degree, be prepared to learn math a lot. He's going to continue to research in robotics. Aubrey Jabert, accompanied by his advisor, Valerie Roy. He is a senior scientist at the Saudi Basics Industries Corporation in Saudi Arabia. He professes, to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream, not only plan, but also believe. Elif Mayros, also accompanied by Valerie Roy, completing a PhD in mechanical engineering. Elif started his PhD in Canada, but suddenly, due to a political government decision, all the students from Canada had to leave Canada in the middle of their program. He came to UD only to find mechanical engineering a trusting and welcoming place. He feels he has been one of the luckiest people on earth after such trauma. He's an associate professor in Jubail College University, Saudi Arabia. Kinush Yosafi, accompanied by Fabrice Ferron, completing a PhD in mechanical engineering. He is joining Columbia University as an associate research scientist. He thanks Dr. Veron for his continuous and invaluable support and for always being an inspiration and showing him encouragement. This completes the students earning degrees from the College of Engineering.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Matt, and it is my distinct pleasure to serve as the Dean of the College of Health Sciences. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce both the DNP candidates as well as the PhD candidates in the College of Health Sciences. Our college offers graduate programs in biomedicine that focus on translating knowledge of underlying mechanisms into the development of new diagnostics, new therapies, and the creation of better health outcomes for patients and their families. It is certainly clear in our current time how important the education of these students in this program is. In our programs, we create depth research experience that enhance basic knowledge and shape changes in practice based on scientific evidence. Today, we are honoring our graduates in the clinical doctorate in nursing practice and our PhD graduates in nursing science, applied physiology, medical sciences, and in the interdisciplinary program of biomechanics and movement science. I want to offer all of the students and their mentors congratulations from the college and from me on the tremendous accomplishments that you have done. I also especially want to thank this group of students because in addition to completing their work for their dissertations and their DNPs, they have also been serving in the community on the front lines to offer clinical care to people in the community, as well as they have been a major part of being able at UD to offer COVID surveillance testing as well as distribution of vaccines. And so I especially want to thank them for all of that incredible work. A special thanks as well to those families and friends and your academic mentors who have supported you on this journey. We wish you continued success as you move on to the next stages of your career. And I look forward to hooding you all as you come across the stage with the candidates in the College of Health Sciences. Please step forward.
Sophie Green, completing a PhD in applied physiology under the directorship of David Edwards. They say it takes a village to raise a PhD, and she could never have accomplished this without the support from her village. She wants to thank Dr. Edwards for the best advice to not reinvent the wheel and to keep things moving forward. Also, she wants to thank her lab mates and each other for comic relief, especially Mago, who she will never forget microwaved her oranges instead of the chicken nuggets. Joseph Stock, completing a PhD in applied physiology under the directorship of David Edwards. Joseph Stock works as a postdoc researcher in the cardiovascular physiology lab at UD. He thanks God for saving him during this time of disease. Eliza Hoops, accompanied by her advisor, Melissa Whitman, completing a degree in applied physiology. She always remembers how Dr. Whitman would drop little hints on possible dissertation topics, like leaving articles on the lab benchtop for her to read. Little did she know that would lead her to calling herself a sleep researcher. She is continuing to work on sleep as a postdoc fellow with Dr. Patterson in the Department of Behavioral Health and Nutrition. Camila Migdal, with the directorship of William Farquhar, completing a PhD in applied physiology. She has a new position as the NIH VA Scientific Liaison at Washington, D.C. VA Medical Center. She states, "I'm ready to face the challenge." Go ahead. Katerina Smiljanets, accompanied by her advisor, Shannon Lennon, earning a PhD in applied physiology. She said she went into research because of the high degree of structure and the power to control many variables. It wasn't until conducting nutrition research on humans when she realized how complex humans are and how much we cannot control. Out of everything she's learned in the past 5 years, one thing is for certain: eat your fruits and veggies. Jennifer Barnes, accompanied by her advisor, Jeremy Crenshaw, completing a PhD in biomechanics and movement science. Jennifer is a U.S. Army veteran who hopes to use her research skills to improve the lives of those who have sustained war-related injuries. She believes that the key to success in life is the ability to adapt. She lost her first advisor tragically to cancer, had to change labs twice, and eventually ended up where she is today. Andrew Sprague, accompanied by his advisor, Karen Siebernacle, completed a PhD in biomechanics and movement science. He wants to remind Dr. Siebernacle and the rest of the Tendon Research Lab that today he gets to be the king of the lab. He's an assistant professor in the Department of Physical Therapy at the University of Pittsburgh. Go ahead. Celeste Dix, accompanied by her advisor, Lynn Snyder-Mackler, completing a PhD in biomechanics and movement science. After 10 years at UD, 4 degrees, and no all-nighters, Celeste will be staying on at UD one more time to finish a sports physical therapy residency. Thank you to Lynn for seeing her potential and her family and support. Once a blue hen, always a blue hen. Jessica Johnson, accompanied by Lynn Snyder-Mackler, her advisor. She is an assistant professor in the Division of Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation Science at the University of Minnesota Medical School. I know. Go ahead. Elham Bakashwar, accompanied by her advisor, Nancy Geschel, completing a PhD in biomechanics and movement science. Elham says that Nancy Geschel is the bravest faculty member at UD she has had because she has had 2 Iranian and 1 Mexican grad student during the Trump presidency. Go ahead, Riza. Riza Koiler, also under the direction of Nancy Getchell, completing a PhD in biomechanics and movement science. Thanks Dr. Ketchell for standing by his side and always supporting and believing in him. Possibly thinks that Riza might be the majority of her stress in the past years. Jessica Galliganiani, accompanied by Susan Morton, completing a PhD in biomechanics and movement science. She had to leave Delaware at the beginning of the pandemic without a chance to say goodbye or even get one last waffle cone from the UD Creamery. She is so grateful to be here back tonight and to bid farewell to the UD and her advisor, Suzanne Morton. Special thanks to her family for coming all the way here. She is a physical therapist in Roaring Fork Valley, Colorado. Kelly Banas, accompanied by her advisor, Eric Komet, completing a PhD in medical sciences. She says, do not follow where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. She's a research scientist for Gene Editing Institute at Christiana Care. Mira Patel, under the directorship of Esther Biswas-Fisk, completing a PhD in medical sciences. She says, success is not just about what you accomplish in your life, it's about what you inspire others to do. So this is just the beginning. Michelle Ness, accompanied by her advisors, Jennifer Saylor and Janice Seligman. She is an assistant professor of nursing at Towson, Maryland. She thanks Dr. Seligman and Saylor for their leadership and guidance for this degree. Leanne DeFusco, accompanied by her advisor, Jennifer Saylor, completing a PhD in nursing science. She's an advanced nurse practitioner in the Cardiac Center at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, CHOP. She's going to look for other opportunities in other institutions also to continue her research work. Margot Dehaney, accompanied by her advisor, Hillary Barnes. She's a labor and delivery nurse at the University of Maryland Medical Center. Her mother inspired her to be a nurse, and her father is the one that said never give up and never surrender. Without them, she would not be walking across the stage. Beaks up, Blue Hens. Constant Crane, also advised by Hillary Barnes for her degree. She's transitioning to becoming a nurse practitioner in a lead primary care practice. Cheris Foraker, supervised by Jennifer Graber. Thanks to all the UD professors in the School of Nursing. She will be an outpatient behavioral health clinic nurse that provides mental health and substance abuse use services to all age groups. Graham Farnham, also supervised by Jennifer Graber, sends thanks to the entire nursing faculty for sharing their expertise in the field of nursing so that we can continue to be a part of good health for all. Sylvia Musal, Sylvia was orphaned at 14 years of age. High school was also almost unattainable. In the audience is her oldest sister who became her guardian, and she's forever grateful. She's a psychiatric nurse practitioner in the U.S. Air Force, and she's been in active duty for the last 9 months. Megan Elliott, supervised by her advisor, Susan Contenay Buck. Throughout her doctoral program, she worked as a registered nurse on trauma surgical unit at Christiana Care Hospital in Newark. Upon graduation, she's going to move to family's nurse practitioner in a local clinic, making sure that students with complex conditions meet their healthcare needs. She is so happy to precept new nursing students in her role. Kelly Klim, under the supervision of Susan Contenay Buck. She is a primary care nurse practitioner with Mercy Medical Center. Elizabeth Noguchi is also under the supervision of Susan Contenay Buck. She says, "Your brilliance awaits you at the edge of your comfort zone. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for pushing me out of my comfort zone." Christina Warden, accompanied by her advisor, Dee Campbell. Christina has loved learning at UD with the colleagues in the nurse practitioner program. She quotes Florence Nightingale, "Let us never consider ourselves finished nurses. We must be learning all of our lives." Shelley Ann Alford, accompanied by her advisor, Sharon Dudley Brown. She wants to thank her family for their support and to her godmother, Sharon, who always dreamt and encouraged her to become a nurse practitioner. I know she is with me in spirit, looking down on me today with a proud smile. That completes the awarding of the degrees for the students in the College of Health Sciences.
This concludes the 2021 doctoral hooding ceremony at the University of Delaware. To the graduates, I'll say this: if this seems like the end of a journey, well, you're mistaken. It's more akin to an arch, as the Lord Alfred Tennyson wrote in his poem Ulysses. I am a part of all that I have met, and yet all experience is an arch, where through gleams that untraveled world whose margin fades forever and forever when I move. So I can't say anything further after quoting him, but for our newly minted DNPs, DPTs, EdDs, and PhDs, this is just the beginning of a great journey, and with great talent comes great expectations. We're counting on you to lead our community, our nation, and our world to a brighter future. I wish you continued success in all that you do. And now I ask that everyone please stand for the University of Delaware's alma mater.
Thank you.
Now I ask that everyone remain seated while the platform party leaves the stage, and after that, we ask that all the students and faculty and guests exit the stadium directly rather than be called by rows.